The 15 cocks I decided to keep are all settling in nice, as you can see. They've all had a good bath and looking really good. A slightly better look at the Homogeous Indigo that Robert corrected me on. That's the Young Ice Cross. And the almond cock in the bottom, the barless cock, the spread brown cock, and the milky cock. Toy stencil check. The frill stencil cock with the white spotting in the tail. The black cock we selected to cross in. And then in the background there is the almond cock, and then yet another toy stencil white check cock. Good morning guys, it's Sunday the 17th of January 2020. Hope everybody's staying safe, being practical and keeping themselves out of harm's way. Right, I just want to start again by saying thank you very much for all the subscribes. I really do appreciate it guys. Quite a number more people have hit the subscribe button, and then they've obviously hit the little bell icon to be alerted. If it's your first time here, please think about hitting the subscribe button and then the little bell icon on the right. Select all and that will alert you every time I put up a new video. So thank you very much again for all the comments, subscriptions. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully these videos are being of benefit to someone and you're enjoying the content even if you aren't a pigeon keeper. So today what I'm going to do is I've decided, I've had a good check through now, and in the coloured loft where the birds are going up on the website right after this video, hopefully, at the moment there's 24 birds in there, and 9 of those are to go. So hopefully they'll go when they go up on the website, and as I say, it'll be first come first served. Now I'm not going to hold any reserves or anything like that, so please don't ask me to do so. There'll be what there is at the moment, but there will be more later in the year, youngsters off the birds that we're breeding. I'm going to start to pair the birds up the last week in February. I've booked a week's leave to start and pair those birds up, and when we do that we'll give you another video of putting the birds together, the colours we're using and the reasons why and what our expectations may be. I said I hope we can get to 200 by the end of January. It looks like we're getting there guys. We're on the 17th at the moment, and I think now there's 186 or 188 subscribers at this moment in time, so thanks again guys. Today what I'm going to do is, I say there's only 24 birds left in that loft. There's way more birds than there is space, so I'm going to condense them down into one section, and then they've still got an 8 foot aviary, 8 foot by 4 foot aviary on the outside as well. So there's bags and bags of room in there just for 24 birds. And when those 9 go, we're going to be down to 15. Predominantly the young frill stencils, toy stencils that are bred. There's a nice pigeon in there, a brown, and 1 or 2 others that I decided I was keeping at this moment in time. So once those birds go, there'll be 15 birds left in that section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close off another section guys. I'm going to clean it all out, get it all sorted, get it pressure washed, because my tap's running again now. Get it all pressure washed, get it all cleaned out, and that'll give me 2 empty sections, and the fantails are hopefully going to go this week. When they've gone, we'll clean that out, or we'll clean the perches at least. We don't need to do the floor again, but we'll clean the perches again, and that's ready for the other birds to move into as and when they get ordered guys. Then when those are all gone, that will leave me with 3 empty sections and 2 full lofts completely empty. And I'm going to do a bit of a modification on one of the lofts that has nest boxes in, the big tin shed. As you can see, I think I showed you in the last video, there's something like 40 perches in there, and I would never put 40 birds in that small shed, by the way. I think the most I've ever had in there was 30, and it's more often than not it's been 12s and 15s. But at the other side, where the nest boxes were, where I had initially put the satinettes and blondinets, there's 12 nest boxes in there, and I'm going to rip them out, and I'm literally going to put box perches in there, make some box perches, and I might video that at a later date if that's something you want to see. I'll cut down the plywood that the nest boxes are made out of. I'm reducing the nest box numbers now, guys, and what we'll do is we'll make another big bank of perch and squares for in that loft, and that can be used for housing the hens and spreading the load evenly next year, so we don't have so many in one loft, and it's purely for health reasons more than anything. So what we've got left is the 15 cocks that we selected. We have 24 hens, because you can never have too many hens after selection. So there are some of those that won't get used this season, but they may get used later at the back end. And then we've got the 15 birds that we'll have left once the other 9 go out of the coloured shed. And then basically, again, those are just for selection. Later in the year, we may decide to let some of those go, including the F2 toy stencil. Maybe. So keep your eyes peeled, guys, and if you're interested, let me know that you are interested in some of the F2s or F1s. Actually, no, the F1s won't be for sale, but the F2s, which are carrying 2 copies of the either toy stencil or frill stencil gene, may become available later in the year. I'm going to have this cup of coffee. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to clean out another shed, and that will give us, in total, once the fantails have gone, 3 empty sections and 2 full sheds. Right, guys, we've got this loft cleaned out again, so this is going to be another empty section, yet another empty section. And as you can see, we had loads and loads of perches in here. Yeah, and there's still plenty in this other section here, and an 8-foot every, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to block this one off now. We're going to get the chippings down on the floor, and then we're going to get this kept empty. Out here you'll see I've got the grills out, and we've pressure washed those, so they're getting ready to go back in and just about to put the wood chip in. On a couple of videos ago I'd showed you me taking the brambles down from behind the chicken shed, and said there was brambles on the outside of the fence that really need to be taken care of. So I've got myself this, guys. This is a 5-in-1 multi-till. Now I've seen reviews where they said they're rubbish, and I've seen reviews where they've said they're pretty decent. Now if they're looked after, lubricated and kept in check and looked after, potentially it'll do the job. I've also bought myself a bramble smashing blade to go on the end of this. I bought it mainly and predominantly because I just want to do the bramble smashing on the outside. And the petrol one, the little battery one I have, won't handle that, but this perhaps will. It does come with a chainsaw attachment, and it also comes with a hedge trimmer and a long pole, extension pole if I needed it. But so the hedge trimmer will do for those tough brambles that we have down behind the garden fencing that we cut down earlier in the year. The battery just doesn't last long enough on the other one, so this is a backup plan, guys. Right, I'll crack on and I'll catch you later, guys. Bye. Right, guys, we'll just give you a quick look at these fantails before they go. As you can see, these are all waiting patiently to go to the new home. These are the fantails, guys. And then once these are out of here, you can see there's next to nothing on the perches. But we'll give those another little scrub down, put some fresh bedding in, and eventually this will be completely empty, guys. We don't need to do the floor, it's still fine. As you can see, the chipping's still clean under there. But one thing I'm toying with an idea, because when the birds drop right above the perches, most of it goes in the boxes, but sometimes it comes over the edge like this, and then it does stick to the grills and it builds up over a period of time. It makes those back grills really grubby. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of board down here, or make a little wooden trough full of wood chips, and every now and again just go in there with a little trowel and just scoop it out and put some fresh chipping in there. That'll give me more time between clean outs. Likewise in this empty section here, guys, this is one we cleaned out earlier. This is normally where we wean the young birds off in. Again, I'm going to put a little wooden trough under these perches. Make a little box trough or something like that, or even just a flat board on the bottom, and throw some wood chip on top, and then scrape that down periodically. It just saves it getting into the grills and clagging and sticking. When it dries, if it sticks into the grills, it then creates a build-up even though there's hardly anything underneath. So just to save a bit more time with cleaning out, we'll put a board in there and it's just a quick scrape down on that board and a rough down on the perches. So as you can see, this loft is fully sectionalised, guys. One section in there with the fantails, then we have this little section here where we normally wean the youngsters off in, then through this door and into this next section that we've literally just cleaned out now and pressure washed. I know they haven't came up sparkling new, but they are clean. I know they're clean. And again into this section as well. Normally the birds youngsters get weaned off in that shed, then transferred into here, and if we have separate rounds following, we can then move them along the way into that shed with the aviary on the back, and then if we need to, we open this door, fold it back, and have this as a double shed. Alright guys, quick update for you. Right guys, I'm just about to clean this loft out as well, where the 24 birds are left. I just want to give you a little update. This is the toy stencil blue that we bred. Still heavy in the molt at the moment, guys. Oh sorry, this is the frill stencil, spotting in the tail. Frill stencil blue. And this is the Andalusian frill stencil also, guys. So we're just about to clean this loft out now, guys. So these are a couple of the youngsters that we bred, just to let you know how they're getting on. Coming along nicely now, guys. Just another little look at the frill stencils. You can see how nice these are coming on now, guys. Really looking forward to using these in the breeding project. We have an old cock in here as well. He's an old Staff Van Reed, full pedigree. He no longer fills his eggs anymore. If anybody's interested and wants him for free, when they order a bird, they can have him if he's ornamental value. He's really no good to me and he's just taking up space. However, I will keep him and let him see his days out. He's a 2008 pigeon. See you later, guys. As you can see, guys, these can just be opened back up again. But this is the beauty about the aviary, guys. I've just chest all those pigeons out into the aviary. There's 24 in there and there's still bags of room. And that allows me to keep the birds safe and contained whilst I get on and clean out the loft. Just a little tip I want to show you guys. Although this looks disgusting to some, this manure is perfectly bone dry, and an element of manure in your loft actually helps with the immunity of the pigeons. I'm led to believe that it keeps them in good health. Now, I've been doing this for quite some time, and people who have had birds off me in the past will testify the health of my pigeons. So although it doesn't look very pleasant, this is probably 3 weeks worth, but I am going to make some modifications to these box perches, by the way, guys. And the reason for them is they're a little bit on the wide side. They're a bit too wide. And I'm going to take these apart and actually cut all the lengths exactly in half and make 2 sets out of this, because they don't need to be that wide. This is an example of how wide they do want to be. There we go. So that's what we're going to make them. And these are much better because the manure, the pigeon stands on it and usually and cocks itself over and drops its manure down. onto the floor. Hence the reason when I'm finished this time I'm going to put boards underneath these, underneath the perches. I'm actually going to put some boards down here and just scrape the boards off periodically, because I end up having to lift this floor up far more often than I normally would, because what happens is where just around the areas where they drop it down, you can see it stains the let me show you on the ones I've already taken out, guys. What happens is it keeps on dropping onto the grills, then it sticks and dries, and then once it's done that, it actually clogs the holes up. And so when it clogs the holes up, it can't fall through like it's supposed to onto the wood chips. So this time what I'm going to do, give myself a little tip, and to save all of this mess and having to lift the floors out quite as often, which is still only about once a month, guys, I'm going to try and save myself a bit more work and just scrape down the boards once a week, every week. We'll see how it goes, guys, and we'll give you an update as we go along. Right, guys, this of course isn't the only way to keep pigeons. When I was younger and fitter, had more time, I was in there every day and I would scrape out twice a day, especially whilst I was racing, guys. There's nothing looks nicer than a nice clean loft, and that's the way I used to do it. However, circumstances change, and in order for me to still keep my hobby, I now do it this way. The birds are still perfectly healthy, and as you can see, this system may work for some people with limited time. One thing is the absolute basic requirement for keeping pigeons healthy is the loft must be dry, and that's achieved by using good ventilation, and that can be rather difficult to get right on some lofts. And what you'll see from most of my lofts now is they're all sort of open up on the front, and they have the aviary they can go into every single day, and that does make a massive difference. When I'm finished this loft, I'll give you a quick look at the ventilation system that I have in this particular loft, and it'll give you some ideas. If you're thinking about constructing a loft, it may help. It took me a number of years to get the ventilation right in a pigeon loft, and what looks basic and simple isn't always achievable. Kettle's just about to boil, guys. I'll catch you shortly. Right, guys, I've got the coffee now. Sorry about that. Right, yeah, so back to basics. The ventilation must be right in your loft. And another mistake that's often made by some fanciers is they put too many birds into too smaller quarters, especially if the ventilation isn't right in the lofts. So I'm going to give you a look at my setup when I have this cup of coffee. We've got the grills out, and we've given them a wet down with a pressure washer. What I do is I get all the floor up, get it out on the grass, and then I give it a quick flash over with the pressure washer, just lightly, to wet it all down. That starts to work on anything that might be baked on there or caked onto the grills. Have the cup of coffee, go back out, and then by that time it'll all be soft and it'll just pressure wash off in no time at all, guys. And then we'll give you a quick look at the ventilation in the loft, in that particular loft, so you can see. But you will always find that your birds will be much healthier with aviaries on. If you can't fly the birds out, and you haven't the time to fly the birds out, put an aviary on the front of your loft, guys, if it's something you're thinking of doing. If you're already established with a loft, perhaps it's a modification you can make to your loft. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm simply telling you what works for me. If these are some of the ideas you might want to incorporate into your system, feel free to do so. Right, guys, the light's starting to fade fast on me now, and I've still got quite a bit to do. So a quick update. Basically, this polytunnel here, over there is the east. And this pigeon loft here, which is the stock loft, we get most of our winds are southerly, blowing straight into that loft. And as you can see, it's fully open fronted, and the aviary. We have a slider there to lock them in, and that's it, but there's air blows in there all day and all night long. And those birds stay perfectly fine in there. These pigeons in this shed, as I say, the wind normally comes mostly from the south. And you might think, well, they're not going to get much ventilation, but on the back side of that loft, which I'll show you in another video, I have a ventilation that runs along the length at roof level. This 24-foot race loft is on the west side, so the back is facing west. We do get a lot of westerly winds as well, guys, and I've actually just finished pressure washing those now. I need to get them in before dark. So again, this is me standing inside the door and we're looking east. Most of our winds come from this back side, from the west or from the south. We do occasionally get an easterly wind, but it doesn't do the birds any harm at all, guys. They don't feel the cold. So just let me give you a little quick look at the ventilation in here. So basically in this particular loft, you can see we have an open window from about half height all the way to the top, and then we have ventilation grills runs across the top of the roof when I built it, and we also have them across the back. And then of course we have the bob hole for the aviary, but even when that's closed off, if these birds are in here, guys, they're still perfectly healthy, and that ventilation system works for me. Hope it helps somebody else. I need to get cracking because I've still got a little bit of muck to do in here. Get the grills back down, and then I've got all the cardboard boxes to make up, ready for the pigeons going to the new home. I'll see you later, guys. Right guys, all done and dusted. So we're going to trial the board. These are just some little offcuts of plywood that I found. They're all individual squares, and it's not ideal. We want to be one long length really, and perhaps even a little trough I can just pull out, scrape out and slide back again. But basically this will give me an idea. So what I've done is I've put these boards underneath the perches now and threw a little bit of wood chip on. Now I know when the birds are flying about that's going to go all over the place, but some of it might stay and help just with the scraping down. So yeah, we're going to trial this, see how it goes, guys. It might just make life, and just clean this every once a week along with the perches, and hopefully we won't need to lift the floor that often. I also meant to mention I do have one down at lower level, the ventilation, and that just helps to keep the floor dry as well, guys. Not all the lofts have got them in the bottom, and I've found there's not a lot of difference between that and the ones that don't, like this one. But this one basically has a Sputnik, so there's fresh air blowing in there all the time, guys. What I may also do as well, I haven't made my mind up, is I might cut a window in these doors as well to give more light into these sheds, and likewise with this one, and in particular that one there, the little one where we're weaning the youngsters off. If the door's back like it is now, it blocks all the light from in there, so we might put one in that door at least. We'll use that one first as a trial and see how it goes, rather than do them all and then regret it at a later date. So that's us all cleaned out, and the birds can be let back in again now, guys. I'll see you later. Right guys, daylight's fast running out on me. I've just made up these boxes ready for the courier, and potentially with the fantails and the birds that I showed you on the video, there's up to 20 birds could be going this week. So they're all done and dusted, because that takes quite a long time to make all of those up and put the shavings in the bottom and everything. It saves time for the courier, and it saves me time because I have to come up on and box all these up for Ken, and then he takes them up to his house, which is only 100 yards away, and he waits for the courier to come and collect. Right guys, I'm giving you the roundup outside here because it's going to be way too dark by the time I get in that shed. It'll be pitch black. So hope this little video has been of some benefit to somebody. Hope it helps out somewhere. Please like, share and subscribe. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, guys, and hit the little bell icon and select all for the notifications. That will remind you every time I put up a new video. For now, guys, stay safe, be practical, keep yourselves out of harm's way, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.